And we will also, do a Facebook Live as well. Hi, Susan.
Good morning. Sorry, I don't know what happened. I was blocked out of Solent.
Oh, all right. Nevertheless, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm just going live on Facebook as we speak. Yeah. So a warm welcome to all the participants, to all the presenters. We have an alum, Captain Thomas, and people from the university, Susan Hawker and Kunal Anand. And I'll introduce in detail in a few slides. If we move to the next slide, Madhura. Okay, so for first question that comes to most of our mind is that how do we communicate? How does the platform work? I know most of you would have used Zoom, but essentially what we are doing in this webinar is that speaking rights are only given to the presenters, that is persons from C and beyond and the university. And how do you communicate as a as a participant? It's essentially three ways. A, through the chat window where we have exchanged greetings. B, you can raise your hand and we could give you right to speak, but that should be at the end. And third, Q&A. There's a Q&A button at the bottom of your at the bottom of your screen, and if you press that, you can put in your questions as well. So that's essentially how we encourage you to communicate. We move on to the next slide. So why C and Beyond is doing this webinar? A lot of us would want to enhance our skills, would want to do something else. There is very less clarity. There is very less information available in the open domain. And even if it is available, it is through and through and through. What we essentially intend to do is to increase your awareness and provide you consolidated information directly from the sources and an alum wherever we can, so that you can evaluate the relevance of that information for yourselves, and more importantly, you can take a well-informed professional decision. So that's essentially our motto, why we are doing the webinar. Some do's and don'ts while we do the webinar. While the slides are going on, you, after that slide is finished, and if you do not understand anything about that slide, you can submit the questions in the Q&A tab itself. But we will take the questions at the end, where you can keep on submitting the question, but we'll take it at the end. Our focus is on you, but we may not be able to answer very specific questions. Try and make it a little bit generic in nature, and we will share the slides of the presentation and the recording as well after the webinar is finished through an email as well. Right. So moving on. Okay, quick introduction about the presenters. Kunal Anand, he's a deck officer with tanker background. He works as head of subject group for maritime business and operations in the university. He's done his MSc in International Maritime Studies and MA in Professional Practice from Solent University. He's part of various marine bodies, example, Senior Fellow of the Higher Education Academy, Associate Fellow of Royal Institute of Navigation, and a member of Nautical Institute. And he's currently the chair of IASST UK chapter and member of the Professional Development Committee of Nautical Institute. And I'm sure there will be other things as well, but because of the want of space, we just kind of put in whatever we have. Susan Hawker, she's the director for this particular course. She's done her LLM in the International Commercial Law from the London School of Economics and is also the course leader for BSc in Shipping, Trade and Transport at HST Academia, Hamburg, and a visiting professor at various universities like Bologna, Cass, Westminster, and Institute of Chartered Shipbrokers. Most of the persons that who have passed law and are currently working, if you talk to them, they would be past students of Susan. So Susan, as such, in the market, most people would know who are working in this particular space. If we move on, Madhura. We have Captain Thomas, who is a alum who's actually currently doing this course. He's a current student of this course. He's a marine superintendent with Misuga Kwan. It's a Japanese company which is managing 150 vessels and has offices in Tokyo, Manila, Hong Kong, and Rotterdam. Captain Thomas is based out of Hong Kong. He's been ashore for past 3 years, and he's a member of the company's global QHSC development team responsible for policy and procedure revision and implementation. Before transitioning ashore, he has a sailing experience of about 23 years, and he has a command of 10 years. So thank you so much, Kunal, Susan, and Thomas for taking time and joining in. Really appreciate that. I'll take a quick poll on the introduction from the participants. So, what is your position? What is your rank? If you are sailing, you were top 4 operational level, you have a sailing background and you are settled ashore, or you never went to sea. So all of us will just have a quick view of the participants. That's the reason why we are doing this poll. I encourage most of you to, or all of you to answer the poll, please. Typical, about 90% of you should be answering. We have about 85, 86, 90% of you have voted now. Let me just end the poll and share results with you. So about 38% of the participants are top 4 sailing. 29% have never went to sea, and 24% have a sailing background but settled ashore, and 10% at an operational level. So that's the participant mix which we have. This is for everyone. And we move to the next slide, and I'll hand over the platform to Kunal, who will essentially take us through, about the university, what it is all about, a quick glimpse of it. And before he starts, I'll just take a quick poll on: have you heard of Solent Wasatch Maritime School? And over to you, Kunal, then.
Thanks, Gaurav. So all the attendees, yeah. So I'm Kunal Anand. I'm the head of the department for maritime professional courses here at Wasatch Maritime School at Solent University. Glad to have you with us today. I'll be talking to you about what the organization does and what our background is, and then obviously Susan will talk to you more about the course itself. Um, as I wait, so as Gaurav has asked, how many of you have heard of Solent University or Wasatch Maritime School? So that is about 50-50 split, again, which is surprising because I thought Wasatch was more well known than that, but all the more makes my presentation more relevant, because that's exactly what I'm going to do now. Tell you about Solent and Wasatch, in case you don't know more about it, or even if you've heard about us, at least I can tell you more at what we do here. Next slide, please. So some of the facts and figures about Solent University. So in one guise or the other, we've been around for about 160 years in various names and forms. What we've done recently is important to tell. In the past 5 years, we have invested about 100 million pounds in campus development. Uh, we on an average in a year have about 11,000 students on campus with 100 plus nationalities. Uh, about 1,500 of them are non-UK students. We've got almost even split between male and female students, and we offer currently in various disciplines about 170 plus undergraduate courses, but obviously we also offer foundation courses, top-up courses, and just like the one we are promoting today, our postgraduate courses as well, which is MSCs, LLMs, PG Dips, MAs, you name them. So that's a brief uh, information about the university. Next slide, please. So at Solent here, we are quite proud of some of the things that we do, and we're quite proud because we are student centric. We like to call it ourselves making students ready for the real world. So we are obviously preparing students for increasingly globalized world. We know the world is getting more and more globalized as we speak, and the pandemic has obviously accelerated that. We talk to the employers all the time, and including the course that we're going to talk about today is got a lot of input from the employers, so that we incorporate the skills and knowledge that the employers want in the people that they employ, and therefore we have tailored our courses to industry needs. We're quite creative in our teaching approach. We can be flexible. We use new and innovative methods of teaching. Again, anything to suit student needs. We know students have different backgrounds, different academic starting points. So we quite creative in how we deliver. We are very inclusive in the fact that we've got students from all backgrounds and abilities, and we incorporate that into our approach as well. And the bottom line is where we are continuously trying to improve our students experience, and we continuously score very well. Here in UK we've got NSS, something called National Student Survey, and what we continuously from students, and it's an independent survey that happens, and we continuously score really high on the experience side of things. So student experience is very important to us, and I'm sure Susan will talk about more about that later on when she talks about her course. Next slide, please. So talking a little bit about the structure of the university, we are divided into three main faculties and one school as Solent University. So Wasatch Maritime School is where I sit, and this course that we're talking about today sits. But other than that, we quite leading in different areas. So we got Faculty of Creative Industries, Architecture, and Engineering. We're really good in engineering courses. Creative industries are more to do with fashion and television and photography. We're quite good at that. We've got Faculty of Business, Law, and Digital Technologies. We are one of the leading law schools within UK, and also our business courses. And finally, our Faculty of Sport, Health, and Social Sciences, which is again quite cutting edge. We've got dedicated sports education building. We work very close with those who follow football. We work very closely with the Saints, which are the Southampton Football Club, and we work very closely with the Hampshire County Club as well from on the cricket side of things. So we are really proud of the other breadth of courses that we do at the university. But today, obviously, we are focusing on Wasatch Maritime School. Next slide, please. So more about Wasatch Maritime School. So we are the only institution in UK and possibly one of the handful in the world which provide a full service portfolio, which by which I mean obviously entry level courses where even pre-cadetships as we call it, so just before preparing people to become cadets in the merchant navy, all the way and through to off to the watch courses, chief mates courses, same for the engineering side, uh, all the way up to postgraduate courses and also PhD. So we whole breadth of maritime courses that can be offered, and we're quite proud of that. So we offer obviously degree programs in maritime business, port operations, uh, marine engineering, and uh, navigation cadet programs that we offer is all three streams currently. So we offer on the deck side, engineering side, and ETO or electrotechnical side. We do courses for senior certificates of competency, both deck and engine. We offer mandatory safety training such as firefighting, lifeboat, medical courses, CPD courses such as maritime lead auditor courses, designated person ashore, human element courses, all of those courses as well. Management development courses. We do lots of maritime consultancy and research as well. So yeah, quite proud of you. We have got a whole breadth of portfolio, which I don't think so many institutions in the world can say they have. Next slide, please. Right. So here we've got so talking about what we do within the school. So in any year, technically, so we're talking about the last year, we had about 7,000 students on professional short courses, which are anywhere from 1 to 5 day courses. And those who are mariners of you in here would understand that. Obviously, I noticed that a quite high percentage today are non-C background. So I'll try to be, and Susan will try to be uh, accommodating of that, and which is actually quite good to see. We offer at least about 1,000 courses plus in a year, which are mostly again short courses plus long courses as well. Anywhere, and by short courses we mean anywhere from, like I said, one day to 5 days to 10 day courses. The longest one we offer is the GMDSS one, which is about 10 days, which is the radio course. We get about close to 1,000 students on our degree programs, including cadetships and other long courses. We have quarter of all of UK cadets come over to us, and we offer in our portfolio at least 200 different accredited short courses accredited by MCA, which is Maritime Coast Guard Agency, or OPITO, which is the offshore agency, or away such bodies including Nautical Institute and so on. At this point, before I get on to the next slide, I would like to ask you, in your opinion, do you think how much percentage of uh, you think students are from outside the UK? So more than 70%, you think, or close to 50 to 70%, or less than 50%? If you could answer, in your opinion, if you think, just to get your idea about the international profile of Wasatch Maritime School. Just waiting for you to finish the poll.
Yeah. Let me end the poll and share the results.
Yeah, so quite again good range of answers, probably about close to third each. Quarter for the first one, more than 70%, close to 50% for 50 to 70%, and about a third for 20 to 50%. You're not very far out. Means I'm glad to see that you all think that we've got good international profile, which we do. Next slide, please. So those who said 20 to 50% were probably the closer ones, but even if you said close 50 to 70%, not too far out, because we got close to it, and this is from the last year, but we vary between 40 to 50% students of the school are international, including we obviously we've got to classify them in two different categories. So European and European Economic Area and EU students account for slightly different group of students, and anywhere outside, including India and the rest of the world, are classified as overseas. So we last year we had 42% international students. It can vary slightly. It can go down slightly under 40 or sometimes close to 50% as well, which is a quite high number of international students. We've got a very international profile. We get lots of students from South Asia, Far East, as well as from Africa as well. Not to mention on our yachting courses, we get lots of students from North America, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand as well. And we've got various collaborations around the world. We have a collaboration in Hong Kong. We work very closely with Singapore Maritime Academy as well in Singapore, SINEC in Sri Lanka. We've just started a new program with the Ho Chi Minh City. We work very closely with another partner in Malaysia, and by far one of our biggest partners is Metropolitan College in Greece, where we run our franchise programs for cadetships and various other undergraduate and postgraduate courses. So we're quite proud of our international profile, as we should be, because we are a maritime school, and maritime, as we all know, is international. Next slide, please. So what we are here to talk about is our postgraduate diploma in international trade and maritime law, which is obviously can be topped up to a full LLM in the same discipline. But without further ado, I'll hand over to the course leader and the person who actually runs the course day to day, and Gaurav introduced her to you earlier on in our program, and that's Susan Hawker, and she's been doing that for close to 25 years. Susan, over to you.
Yes, I have. Good morning, or at least from here, it's good morning. So perhaps better to say hello in more general terms. I'm Susan. I'm delighted to be here and have this opportunity to join you all, and also to talk about the course. I'm always delighted to talk about the course. And yes, this is the third incarnation of the course, and I have now been running it for about 25 years. And I really do love it. I love the law. I love this area of the law, and I do love the course. And I have to say, I think this is the best home that the course has ever had. And I really, really do like Solent. And I think students do have a very, very good experience at Solent University, because it is inclusive and it is very, very encouraging. And I just wanted to start off with this slide, because this is the Spark building. Yes, I knew that someone would push me on. There are various slides with pictures, which I love. And when we had the trial run...
Mother, if you can go back to the previous slide.
No, I've taken the hint. You were trying to delete the slides, and now you've just moved me on. This is the Spark building, and it's to give a spark of inspiration, and it is fabulous. And I think Solent does that generally, and hopefully my course will. And this here is the big red pod, and it has a bridge, and embedded in more social times, we can have a course drinks do there, and it is just fabulous. Okay, I'm happy to be moved on. So next slide, please. Okay, well, these are the very basics of the course. I'm the course leader. The course will start this year in October. It's a full 12-month period. It's not just one academic year. So you start last week of September for Welcome Week, first week of October for actual studies, and your exams would be the following October, so then 2022. It's a full year, and it's distance learning. And the overview of the assessments, which people are always very concerned about, there are 5 courseworks which are done throughout the year. And then there is one final exam split into 4 papers at the end of the course. And we have just started the final module, module 5, and students are just completing the coursework for module 4. And then of course they will go on to think about the coursework for module 5. So the course is continuous and it builds up. Okay, next slide, please. So I'm going to give a brief outline of what we study. And it's very
you want
much...
me to take a poll, Susan?
Oh, sorry, please, yes, please do, take a poll. Yes, take a poll, that's perfect, thank you.
Right. I think also it might be the case, many wouldn't know whether the contracts are under English law or not. That, and maybe we could have added another option of, don't know.
Okay, point taken.
Anyway, I'm just, ending the poll and sharing the results now. So it's about 50-50 on, whether persons come across contracts under English law. And the main purpose of most of the attendees to do the course is career advancement. Then is to gain knowledge. And the last one is to ability to make a reasoned argument.
I think that would be the main reason for anybody who is working at this stage in life for doing a professionally related course. It would be for career advancement. So when I say professionally related, like not doing your French classes or your Spanish classes once a week, or going off to a baking course on the weekends. That doesn't surprise me, that one. Shall I continue?
Yes, please.
Sorry. Okay, I'm going to give a brief overview of the basics, the substance of the course. And it is very much an academic course because law is academic. But it's how law actually meets commercial trade expectations. So I have a phrase which is taken from a former judge, commercial law judge, and he wrote an article that said commercial law meets commercial practice, and it very much does. Certainly English law does. And so we teach an academic real life subject, and the law is real and it is live. It's what's happening in society, and we teach it within the context of trade expectations. So it shows you how the law and the trade do go hand in hand. And we start off with the core module, and this is an introduction to English law. And this is a full module. It starts off, it's a proper module. It's has a coursework. The coursework mark for this does not count towards the final diploma because it's like a free try to get people up to speed with what is expected on a law course. And Captain Thomas may say that sometimes what you expect is not actually what is expected in the law, and he may support me in that. Without being jingoistic, about 90–95% of the world's trade is actually fixed on English law terms, and therefore English law is the most relevant choice in the shipping industry. And I personally believe that if you can cope with English law, because English law is woolly, it's policy driven. In the trade commercial shipping contracts, there's very little statutory regulation. So it's completely almost dependent upon judges and judicial decisions, which is policy driven to sort of meet trade expectations. And if you can cope with that, you can really cope with any system of law anywhere in the world. We look at these basics in English law because they are like the breeze blocks of the wall of specialized law subjects. So you cannot do contracts of carriage and bills of lading and charter parties and admiralty law and marine insurance if you do not have those basic breeze blocks underneath you. So we spend the first module looking at those, and we look at what we mean by English law and the common law, a judicially developed system of law. We look at where it comes from, because that is part and parcel of its attitude of where we are today. And we look at the three big areas, the three big building blocks: contract law, the law of other wrongs, un tort, as the French would say, a wrong. And we also look at agency, and they are the big breeze blocks, and we get those firmly settled. And then we go on to the course specific topics. And the first one is international sales and international trade. If you can all see me on the screen, international trade, the core of international trade is two main contracts, and that is the international sale contract. And the moment you have an international sale contract, you have to have wedded to it a contract of carriage. It is not possible to have an international sale contract because the international bit in contractual terms are the obligations on either the buyer or the seller, basically, long story short, to fix the freight. You can have a sale contract without having those international terms, but it's not an international obligations, but it's not an international sale contract. So the moment you've got your international sale contract, you have wedded to it a carriage of goods by sea contract, which will either usually be under a voyage charter or a bill of lading type contract. And that is the big one of the two big ones of the course. And on that module, we actually look at the international sale contract itself and the financing of international sales. This is a critical part of that two-link wedded together chain. Next slide, please. And then we go on to module 3, and that's the other link of the chain, and that is carriage of goods by sea. And the two topics for that are bills of lading contracts and charter parties. And once we've got those under our belts, we really have got the main essence of the course. We've got the core of the course and everything else builds around it. And then we go on to admiralty law and marine insurance. And then we go on to module 5. And module 5 is a bit like the jewel in the crown as far as I am concerned. All of the modules are excellent. And I find all the topics interesting, really, really interesting. And we have an excellent team of module authors, and I've really enjoyed reading their modules and putting learning questions in and self-assessment questions to help students develop. But the marine dispute management module, whilst it's not in any way better than the preceding 4, it is the jewel in the crown in the sense that it's a very unique module to this university. And it's been very carefully put together, and it sort of rounds up the entire course. So we start off with the basics, which is the breeze blocks English law. And then, of course, we do the carriage and international sale contracts. And then we look at admiralty law, which is salvage, in rem action, how to arrest a ship if you want to sue the ship rather than the actual person who would be liable. We look at collision liability, and we look at the big one, the difficult one, of general average, which we're battling with at the moment on the course. And it's one of those topics that happily confuses everybody. And I think it confuses lawyers and admiralty, lawyers and average adjusters alike. But it's one of those subjects we muddle on with, and it is interesting. And then we do marine insurance, which of course supports everything. And then we go on to this marine dispute management, and it pulls it all together. Because the reality is, it's no good knowing your law. It's no good in the sense of knowing your rights if you don't know how to get to those rights, if you don't know how to protect yourself when somebody is suing you in support of their rights. So what we look at on this module is the conflicts of laws, which is if I enter into a contract with you, and we have an English law clause, and suddenly you would rather be sued under, say, French law or Indian law or you name it law, can you actually get what you want? Can you find a way to circumvent that and get what you want? And if we agree to sue in an English court and you want to bring a claim, say, in Hong Kong or Singapore or Italy, can I actually stop you doing that by an anti-suit injunction? And it's very academic, and it's a very shipping related topic. And it starts to wake people up to the fact that bringing a claim, a dispute, is actually more than just whether or not you or the other party has a liability. And then we go on to dispute resolution, which is mediation, which is big now in shipping, arbitration and litigation. And then the jewel, managing and investigating marine casualties. And this is how to pull it together. This is actually how to investigate, manage your marine casualty, and how to do it quickly and efficiently so as to protect your interests. And no other university in the UK, I'm not sure that any other university in the world, in fact, has this module. And we are particularly lucky in the author of this part of the module. Mclean, who is an ex-seafarer himself, worked for Hanseatic Lines as their ISM manager when he first came ashore, and now is a lawyer and is a senior partner with Hill Dix, which is one of the big shipping law firms, and he's based out in Singapore, and this is exactly what he does. He goes out to investigations, saving sinking ships is what I'm always teasing him about. And he goes out to incidences and disasters, and he's acting for a client, and he will marshal his thoughts and he will marshal the situation very, very quickly in order to ring fence and find out what actually happened and to protect his client's best interests. And he has written the topic for this. And he came to one of our webinars and he gave a very, very interesting overview of actually having managed an incident where a vessel got on fire. So we are very, very fortunate to be able to round it off like that. Next slide, please. We are very fortunate in all of the module authors. Very fortunate. So not more fortunate in one than the other. Every module author was chosen for a particular reason. We are, in my mind, especially fortunate, though, to be able to offer this part of the marine investigation module. So how does it work? How does it work? Well, the course has a dedicated course page, and then each module, each of the 5 modules has a dedicated online module page, and they're all set out exactly the same. So once you can navigate one, you can navigate them all. And each topic has a comprehensive handbook, which is the starting point for study of the course. And the handbook has learning questions at the end of each section. And then at the end of the handbook, an overview of self-assessment questions to guide you into thinking about how to answer questions. And those self-assessment questions have issues for consideration to help you formulate your thoughts. And we have a schedule for webinars. So when the course, when the module page goes live, the module page is ready. When the module goes live, the module page is ready, and each of the webinars is set out with the dates, with the time, and with a link. And we've had structured answer and question sessions. We have a practice run coursework sessions, and we have a lot of interaction on the module page with me and the other students. And people can post comments and thoughts up. It's also possible to email me through the module page or just through email generally if you have questions, concerns or thoughts about how you're getting on. And then we have formative assessments and exercises. Each module has a formative exercise that is to help you develop. And these exercises have been very carefully thought out, and they sort of build up and guide you. And here we have 3 seminars. We have 3 seminars, 2 where the module authors come along and talk about their modules. And then we will have 1 at the end for a revision. Although I seem to have been persuaded into, we've got 3 revision webinars this year, but I'm very happy. We've had a lot of webinars. People have asked for extra ones, and I've been very happy to do it. And also I'm happy to do a Teams or a Zoom one-to-one if anybody feels that they would like a chat about something. We've all very much, well, I have, and students seem to have enjoyed them. Captain Thomas will either support this or refute it in 2 minutes. But I have certainly very much enjoyed the webinars, and we all learn things, we all learn something, and it's a very collegiate, community-based experience. Can you study this successfully whilst at sea when there's no internet available? The answer to that is mostly yes. All the materials can be downloaded. The library materials that you have online can all be downloaded. You have to be able to submit the courseworks on time, and you have to somewhere be able to do the exam. And they are not movable feasts. It's a proper structured schedule. So courseworks have to be handed in by a certain date, and the exam will have to be done on time, because the course has to have university integrity. But the actual study, absolutely, yes, can be done while you're at sea. And as I've just said, there's a structured pace. There's a structured pace so that you can learn and your learning can develop. And the exams can be taken worldwide. Any centre that is recognised by the university is considered appropriate for a venue for the exam. Next slide, please. Well, this is where I stand, either supported or shot down in flames, because this is where Captain Thomas is coming in to give his views about the course. So what are the benefits of doing the course? Well, the benefits are that they certainly will give an edge to your profile. They'll give an edge to your working experience, and they'll also give an edge to your life. Having a good understanding of how a law subject works is a transferable skill. It goes across into any situation in life. And what it does is to help you to respond to a claim at work, a dispute situation. It helps you to respond to difficult situations in professional or personal life, because it enables you to breathe in, as one's Pilates teacher might say, breathe in to prepare. Not to rush in, but breathe in, collect yourself, and to be able to put your markers out. And there is a language and there is a way of thinking that puts the other side immediately on notice that you're a serious person and actually you're to be reckoned with and you mean business. And here we are. As an ex-student, I can vouch for this. It's the best investment one can make. Oh, well, this is amazing. This is brilliant. Yes, 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 yes. I have this mantra to cut all this short, that everybody should do law and more law with Susan. The other benefit of the course is that it develops reflective reasoning. Now, I have to say that any good law course will do that, and not just law courses. There are other academic subjects that equally as well develop this. I do not think, and I have experience with this, I do not think that all law courses actually teach students, develop students' abilities to focus and set out their markers. We do not do this course in a woolly, oh, it's a free thinking world sort of way. We do it in a very focused way. We learn to focus, we learn to marshal our thoughts, we learn to apply what we want to rely on to a particular issue or situation. And to my mind, that's a very important part of teaching people about commercial law, about any area of law, but it's not always brought home. Any well taught and well-structured academic course will teach people the skill of critical analysis, reflective reasoning, so that if someone says, well, I'm going to sue you for breach of contract, you can think about the issues, you can think about how the law is developing, you can think about how it might develop in the future, and you can actually think of that perhaps there is a wind, as I say, a soft breeze of judicial reasoning that's around that you can grab, you can harness it, and you can put that wind into the sail of your argument. That is critical analysis. Once you've got the skill of critical analysis, there is never any holding you back. And then I'm going to come back to the next point after I've just touched on this next, the last two, because this is the point where the understanding commercial law one is the one where I would like Thomas to come in. We obviously teach you knowledge. You have to have knowledge in order to display that you've developed on the course. So we do the relevant knowledge for the topics, and you know that we're doing the relevant knowledge because every module has a university formally validated module descriptor. And so if you come on the course and we're doing bills of lading and suddenly I'm talking about basket weaving and I say to you, yes, basket weaving is essential to bills of lading. You look at the module descriptor and then you go off to Kunal as head of school and you say, really sorry, Susan is lovely, she's fabulous, but actually she's teaching us about basket weaving and actually that's not what we're supposed to be doing. So there's always a sort of a transparent, validated profile to the course. But the knowledge is almost secondary because of course the knowledge will change. And what we're really teaching you through the medium of the knowledge is how to find the knowledge, how to understand with a subject like English law, that the way of thinking and therefore the case law will change. We are, as I speak, waiting for the Supreme Court to decide a case, CMA, CMG, Libra case, where long story short, the ship went off channel, coming out of a port in China, and she grounded and had to have salvage rescue. And the cargo interests are being asked for general average, a contribution from the ship owner. And the cargo interests say, no, you can't claim general average from us because actually you are in breach of contract, which caused the loss and damage. And you're in breach of contract because you did not exercise due diligence in providing a competent crew. And the owner is saying, well, that actually doesn't matter because we've got a defense of negligent navigation and management of the ship under the Hague and Hague-Visby rules. Now, 50 years ago, even 20 years ago, when I first came into maritime law and maritime professional life, the owner's argument would have been one that prevailed. Exactly. Well said, Ral. So every 20, even only 20 years ago, that defense would have prevailed, but the whole way of thinking has changed. The whole expectations of society, of the trade have changed. And the reason the case is in the Supreme Court is because the cargo interests have said, no, you can't rely on the defense unless you actually show that you did meet your obligations of exercising due diligence to provide a seaworthy ship. And this is a very contentious issue. And this is the sort of thing we teach you to think about. It's the sort of thing we teach you how to find out, because the knowledge itself is just the tip of the iceberg. And then you emerge from the assessment regime, because you have to emerge. You have to emerge with not only good academic, intellectual, critical analysis skills, you have to emerge with being able to apply those in any general working life. And that is the point of the word-constrained essays and a time-constrained exam. And Thomas will support me in this, that all my students cry. I mean, they cry about many things on the course, because come and do law with Susan and you're going to cry. But one of the things they all say to me is, oh, but we can't do this in 2,500 words, Susan. It's just not fair. And I say, you can do it. Every other student has done it, so you can do it. And you have to do it. So you have to learn how to marshal your thoughts, get yourself organized and your arguments tight. You have to do it. It's no good saying you can't answer the questions in a time-constrained exam because you'll fail the exam. Of course you can do it. It's organizing yourself, because that's what real life is about. It's when a client or commercial person in your firm, someone in your firm says, well, what do you think? You've got to be able to come up very quickly with some sort of focused, critical response. And you might say, well, this is my response now, and I need to go away and think about it and develop it. But you've got sensible, setting your markers out, holding the other party, holding the person at work, and saying, this is what the position is at first sight. I'm going to go away and think about it. And so that is the point of the word-constrained essays and time-constrained exams. And right at the beginning of this, I said that we teach the law, it's an academic subject, but we teach it in the sense of commercial expectations, trade expectations. And I said that Lord Devlin had this article, Commercial Law Meets Commercial Practice. And this is the very essence of the course. It's to say to you, your commercial practice is a critical part of your life, and it's brilliant. And you have to bring that commercial way of practice above what I call the water level of the iceberg. And below the water level of the iceberg is your trade practice. It's our everyday personal and professional relationships. Normally we muddle along, because normally we just want it to go well. But there are times when we can't muddle along. We've got to put our head above the water level of the iceberg for dispute resolution. And that's what the law is about. And these two do go hand in hand. And this is what we've talked about consistently throughout the course. And Thomas is the perfect person to come along and contribute to this morning and to say how he feels about the course, because he's very much had to embrace this commercial law meets commercial practice. So Thomas, at this point, over to you to say what you think about the course and how you feel about being on it. Thank you, Captain Thomas.
Hi, good morning, everyone in India, and good afternoon, everyone. It's good evening for me here. See, as Susan said, this course, we handle a lot of claims or whatever cargo claims, insurance, etc. when you are sitting ashore. But most of us, I believe, does not have a proper knowledge on how to handle it. If you're just straight away coming from sea, you're taking up a position ashore, as what I did. I had quite a handful of experience back at sea, but when I came ashore, I had to start from a scratch. And being here, handling all the claims without knowing it is actually difficult. Then you're putting your clients, your customers at risk. Maybe your statements, your arguments can expose them to more liability. So it is very essential for every individual, whether he is ashore or on board, to know a little bit of law, especially the maritime law. And I would say, this will help us to get an in-depth knowledge on the various relevant law applying to charter parties, bills of lading, admiralty, salvage, or whatever, you name it. For any maritime venture, you need to know what exactly the law plays and how important the law is for every maritime venture.
Yes, and do you agree, Thomas, that focusing on the course and the way we teach it and the way we have the webinars and the way the courseworks are drafted, it really does encourage you, students, particularly those from commercial practice, it encourages you to step back and think, are we looking at commercial practice here, or are we looking at legal liability?
Yeah, exactly. What you said. This course is well structured and well spaced, so that any working individual can complete it within this time frame. And the webinars and the seminars, what we have, and it's very engaging type. As you Susan, you have a whip in your hand and you just you
all do cry, don't you?
Yes, we do, yes.
I have discovered that they have a little group WhatsApp, and they meet on the group WhatsApp and they plot and plan they plot and plan sedition and how to get us involved in unjustifiable deviations. And they have one of their little group, and Captain Thomas is always assigned because, of course, he's the captain. And I don't think Captain Thomas has quite realized yet, even though we're in module 5, that actually he's not in charge of this ship. So Captain Thomas is assigned to come with a little list of wants and how to introduce sedition. And one of the other students is an ex-student of mine from my shipping school in Hamburg. And I've got currently two ex-students from the Hamburg school. And one of them actually lives down the road from me. And I bump into him sometimes in the park when he's walking the dog and the baby. And he always looks very anxious. And he always says, oh, I keep telling Captain Thomas, perhaps that's not a good one to ask for. And so I know about this little group WhatsApp. I can give an example. Sorry?
I mean, our cohort has got a WhatsApp group, and then we keep on discussing on various factors. And the more important thing is, we have in this course, we get to know people from different walks of life.
Yeah.
I've got brokers, charterers, and myself, superintendent. And so even if you have not been in a position, you can actually well adapt to what it is throughout the industry, what's happening in the industry.
Yes, and I do think it does people. I think it does people from sea, like Thomas. I think it does everybody good, actually, to meet brokers in the shipping industry, because brokers in the shipping industry are very, very robust. People outside of the shipping industry tend to think they are quite aggressive. And there's nothing like encountering a broker who will tell you quite definitively what the law is, even though he's never read it or never really understood it or never really thought about it, but they're bang in your face. And on this course, we force brokers to step back and to take that breath in before they start putting out their markers. And I think, as Thomas said, it does everybody good to meet people from different walks of life, particularly in the shipping industry, because you see how the picture comes together. The law, of course, is what we do on the course, but the underlying commercial practice is an absolute critical issue. And to see the whole jigsaw picture come together of commercial practice really helps you to understand the expectations that the law is trying to meet. And these subjects are almost impossible to teach to undergraduates who have no commercial shipping experience, because they just do not get the cases, because they do not understand the commercial trade practice. They just don't understand it. And if I could just spend one more minute on this, I have an example. We had a webinar and we were talking about the Hague and Hague-Visby rules. And the Hague and Hague-Visby rules do not apply to contracts for the carriage of deck cargo. So I say in the seminar, so guys, what is deck cargo? And the two students from Hamburg sort of suck their breath in, because they know this, because of course we did this on the law module in Hamburg. And Thomas says, Susan, it's goods that are carried on deck. And Thomas has two small twin daughters, toddlers, and he spoke to me exactly as I know he speaks to his twin daughters, very patiently, as if I needed guidance and care. So he said, Susan, it's goods that are carried on deck. And I said, quick as a flash, where's your authority for that? Because one of the things we do on the course is that you need authority for absolutely everything you say. So I said, where is your authority for that? Knowing exactly what Thomas's response was going to be, because I've had this before. So Thomas says, 23 years at sea, Susan, knowing he's got the trump card. I put a bigger trump card down and say, no, but that doesn't count above the water level of the iceberg. Now, it's essential that we lawyers understand what commercial people think is deck cargo, because they're very likely to be loading and stowing containers into on deck on decks that have been modified for container carriage. So the goods are loaded and stowed carefully and properly in accordance with the Hague and Hague-Visby rules, and they're put into stacking shoes, etc., carefully and properly. But unless that above the water level of the iceberg is actually stated in the contract, it's not a deck cargo contract to a lawyer above the water level of the iceberg, and the carrier is automatically in breach. And it's these things that we do. And would you agree with that, Thomas?
Yes, I do, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for the next slide. So I'll take the prompt. So there we are. Bring the law to the trade and the trade to the lawyers. And that is Devlin's commercial law and commercial practice. And I really sort of probably have covered all this. Lord Justice Stein, as he was, in a case called First Energy that I go on about all the time. And he said that the common law should meet the reasonable expectations of honest commercial men. And this is the way of thinking. It cannot be taught. We can't sit down and say, here's the textbook on meeting the needs of the reasonable, honest commercial man. And so we have to guide you into that way of thinking. And we really do on this course. And we know what your working life is like, because, you know, head of schools being at sea, half the colleagues, if not more than half the colleagues at Wasatch have been at sea. Everybody knows what it's like to have a professional life and a family, as well as try to move your life on in professional terms through a course. We're very much there to support you. Thomas, do you think I'm correct when I say that? I like to think I am.
Yes, I mean, you know, I can vouch for that, because you're there right from start to finish. I mean, you are like the Article 3.1, you exercise due diligence before and after and throughout the voyage. You know?
Well, I had hoped I was regarded as a bit more glamorous and fabulous than that. You have successfully destroyed my weekend, but anyway.
And I thank you for that, Susan, and being with us throughout and helping us. And you're very responsive, I would say. I mean, you know, whether it be a WhatsApp text or an email or a discussion forum on the module, you're there. You know, whenever we need it, we need a help from you, and you're there to prepare. And you know that in one way helps us to complete all the modules and the coursework in time. You know, because you have a responsive tutor, then half your job is done.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you. Next slide, please. And there's the team. And I'm not going to single anybody out, because everybody really is one of the jewels in the crown. And when I was approached by Solent to think about offering something that we could develop, when I was approached by Wasatch to think about offering something that we could develop together and would be a shiny string to Solent's already excellent bow, my first thought was, who am I going to get on board this course? And I wanted a mixture of rising stars and established heavyweights. And I really put a lot of time into this, and I handpicked everyone. I was extremely lucky, because I'd got my list of people to the relevant modules, and I was going to be absolutely floored if I couldn't get each of those individual people. And to my mind, these are the best of the best for their particular modules. And I wasn't going to be able to cope with not getting them. I'm not a woman to face disappointment easily. Happily, I had a plan of campaign to get them all, one by one in turn. And the plan of campaign worked, because there they are. There they are. They're my excellent team, and lucky Susan to have them all. Next slide, please. Okay, I'm not allowed to speak about this slide. Yesterday in the run-up, everybody wanted me to delete this. I love this. I'll say it very quickly. Wherever you are, we're there. And there's little UK, little Blighty. And here I am in little Blighty. Wherever you are in the world, I'm there for you. We're there for you, and you can come and do my course. Okay, that's it. Thank you. They wanted to take this slide out. I love it. Thank you all very much. I think that's the end of my presentation.
Yeah.
Thanks, Susan.
Thanks, Susan.
Yes, I think it's me now, and I did think we had taken this out, but anyway, I'm just kidding. We wouldn't do that to you, Susan, obviously, and I think it is quite important to highlight, obviously, the global nature of shipping, as well as this course.
Well, look, there I am. And I'm here in the middle at the moment, and you're down there somewhere down towards the south. And Thomas is over here, and I'm
Yeah.
waving to him, and I hold my hands, and he feels the love. I'm his academic mummy, and look, he's smiling. Yeah, I think that slide is brilliant.
Yep. And
Okay.
I don't blame Thomas and his cohort for plotting sedition. I know exactly where they're coming from, but anyway, that's by and by. So yeah, coming back to next slide, please. So taking on from what Susan said, obviously you've heard a lot about the course, and personally, I do think, I mean, I would say that because it sits within my area, but I think it's a really good course. We wouldn't be offering it if it wasn't. And Thomas and I think I saw in chat as well, Rahul has spoken and vouched for this course. So thanks Rahul as well, and thanks Thomas for giving us your input, and Susan was brilliant as usual. So I'll just finish off my bit talking more about what we do at Wasatch Maritime School. We are obviously, we'd like to think that we are the world leaders in maritime education and training, and we've got a lot to offer. So in the current guise and current name of Wasatch, we've been around since 1946, just after the Second World War, and we are the only nautical school with higher education status, which provides full service portfolio, as I've mentioned before, from cadet to master degrees to PhDs. We offer trainings for all shipping, oil and gas, offshore, super yacht sector as well. We're really good with super yacht courses. We do range of research with the international cooperation, including EU and the rest of the world. Consultancy, we offer consultancy to our local partners as well as globally in various parts of the world, including Far East, North America, Africa. And our lecturing staff are all seafarers, as Susan mentioned, or if they are not, then they are, like Susan herself, are specialists in their own areas of maritime sector. Next slide, please. So why choose Wasatch? We are world leading maritime university, and I don't say that lightly. Obviously, there is a lot of substance to that. We are exceptional in academic support and pastoral care, as was highlighted by Susan calling herself academic mummy.
Academic mummy.
It doesn't get any better than that. Please don't quote me on that, but I'll attribute directly to Susan and comments. And obviously we've got excellent academic results, and I'm sure, and attainment rates, I'm sure Thomas and his cohort would be testament to that in 2-3 months time. And they're progressing really well on their course, and rest of our school as well. We are quite proud of what we achieve, and our current students and alumni will be testament to that. We've got state-of-the-art facilities in physical infrastructure. Obviously, many of you, because this is a distance learning course, won't get to see or won't get to experience. I'm sure you'll get to see it through various means. Our state-of-the-art technologies. We've got Europe's biggest and probably one of the world's biggest simulation center. Susan talked about the Spark, which is one of the best UK higher education buildings, rated continuously for the past 5 or 6 years as one of the best teaching spaces in UK. But specifically to distance learning, means we've got one of the best Moodles, as we call that, Solent Online Learning, Sol, which offers range of flexible online learning, and Thomas obviously would have experienced that, and Susan is brilliant in populating various information through that. Lots of interactive learning which can happen, quite flexible online learning platform, and various other facilities. And finally, we are the only UK university, and probably one of the very few in the world, which offers maritime career progression courses. Means we offer obviously professional courses for seafarers, but courses like these, and there are others as well, where we give opportunity to seafarers and other from maritime industry to progress, not in their only in their maritime profession, but also opportunities to develop and come ashore and thrive while coming ashore. And I'm alumni of Wasatch myself, and I keep forgetting that. Next slide, please. So, like I always say, I'm not going to read all of but I'll highlight few of them. So these are our customers, and who's who of world maritime setup, as we want to call them, anywhere from K-Line to Holland America, Maersk, BP, Anglo Eastern, Clyde, Royal Fleet Auxiliary, Shell, Subsea 7, Port of London, Princess Cruises, Royal Caribbean. I mean, who's who, Stolt. So we work with who and who of shipping industry. We're quite proud of that. Exxon, Evergreen. Next slide, please. Research and consulting, we're proud of it. Means being a university, we can't, I can't underscore the importance of research work that we do, and we have to. So we do a lot of cutting edge technical research, as well as human element social research in shipping as well. So we worked quite a lot on collision avoidance, unmanned ships, autonomy. We're doing one of the projects, EU funded projects on called Ignite on remote autonomous vessels, where we are incorporating our simulation section with our ship handling man modeling facility, which is one of the 4-5 such facilities in the world. So quite a lot of cutting edge sea traffic management project is another one which we did, STM, which was another European funded project. But other than that, we do a lot of work. We've done quite proud of the work that we did on seafarers' watch patterns and fatigue, where we incorporated our simulation, as well as bridge simulation, as well as our liquid cargo simulation, and worked out how various watch patterns, say 4 on 8 off and 6 on 6 off, affect the output of a seafarer. But other than that, we work on information projects such as gender equality, multinational crews, living conditions on board, pay conditions, and packages for seafarers, and seafarer welfares. So we do a lot of cutting edge research, as well as socially relevant research for seafarers, and we're quite proud of that. Next slide, please. So we've got, we offer a lot of shore-based maritime courses within the university. So the one highlighted here is in the bold is the one we are talking about, so which is PG Diploma in International Trade and Maritime Law. And I'm quite happy to say that in next few months, and Thomas would be happy to hear this as well, we would be offering LLM top up to this PG Dip in next few months, and that's just being finalized at the moment. We have just started offering, I would talk briefly about that in a moment, a BSc Honors Maritime Sciences top up, which is, I'm quite proud of it. We are only one of, I think we are the only ones offering such a program, which this Maritime Sciences top up is actually linked to your second COC or Chief Mates COC, so Master Chief Mates course, as we offer. So if any of you are interested in that, if you are on operational level at the moment, or if you would want to spread the word about it, it's a Maritime Sciences top up. The first program is just about starting now. So you can link up to do your Master Chief Mates course, which leads up to a Chief Mate Unlimited COC. But as part of that course, you can top it up to a full BSc Honors Maritime Sciences top up, which would offer you a full BSc degree, as well as a post-study work visa in the UK. That's a full-time course, obviously, but and gives you skills which are relevant to coming ashore in the longer term. So the modules there are based around that. And obviously, other than that, we've got lots of other offerings within the university. other top-up courses such as Maritime Management course. We got full-time courses in Maritime Business and Shipping and Port Management. We offer distance learning MSc Shipping Operations. We offer MSc in International, which is distance learning blended online course. But we have also full-time shore-based courses such as International Maritime Business and International Shipping and Logistics MSc, and other engineering-based courses as well. So online as well as full-time courses, depending upon where your interests lie, and how much time you can offer to your courses, whether they want to do them part-time online or full-time. And we'll have in due course more webinars based on some of these courses with Gaurav as well. Next slide, please. And that brings me to the end of my bit. And thank you very much, everybody. And I'll hand over to Gaurav at this point to talk more about C and beyond.
Yeah, thanks. I'll let Captain Thomas take this slide, and then I'll quickly talk about C and beyond, how we could help.
Yeah, I mean, hi. This first career at sea, I mean, we all start as cadets and we attain the command. That's the ultimate thing, or being a chief engineer out at sea. And then what is the next question? I don't know how long you're going to be in the command, or how long you're going to be a chief engineer. And then that's where further studies comes in. And as being out at sea and being a full-time professional, it is very difficult to have a to attend a full-time course or a full-time college. I mean, very few can afford to do that, because by the time you attain your command, you become chief and you have your family, then, taking time out for 1 year, 2 years for studies is going to be difficult. So that's when I think the thoughts of the thoughts of higher education comes in when you attain that rank. And that's when you feel how to go about how to do further studies. And that's when we think about the online platform. And that's where I think the online platform has played a major part. And being in today's, I mean, when I had my command in 2009, 2010, there was no internet. Even if I wanted to study, it was not possible for me. And at that time, stepping ashore, spending 1 year or 2 years without working was not feasible. So continued sailing. And then, now when we came ashore, full-time work, again, how to, I mean, you can't spare time to take out time for a full-time studies. So I think this online platform is a wonderful platform for everyone who's aspiring to have higher studies in the maritime or any other division of academic, I would say. So, and here in with this online platform, it's easy. I mean, it's very structured. The course is very structured over the period of 12 months. Each module is about 2.5 to 3 months. And I would say, I mean, but it's not so easy as what you think. I mean, you just can't enroll and then get out of it with a degree. I mean, you really have to put in your hard work. I would say, I mean, as Susan recognizes, it is 300 hours of study. I think it's put up in the course module for every module. I mean, of course, at least if not 300, a good 200 hours is enough. I mean, or is required. And also, every part, I mean, the module is divided into 3 months, and there are webinars. Probably we have one webinar in a month, and additionally, Susan is happy to do that if the students require more. And also, and as I said earlier, that if you have any issues, you can just put it up in the discussion forum. She will immediately respond to it. So I don't think it's a big problem for anyone who is enrolling this course that to happily go and get all his doubts cleared up. And moreover, getting into the course is very easy. I mean, you don't need this struggle of getting a visa and going searching for additional funds like your accommodation. That's where major chunk of your I mean, the fees part is very less, but staying in UK or anywhere outside your home country is going to be expensive. So all that has been taken care, and the entry to the course is via, you need to do an English test, which is either the IELTS or the Duolingo. The Duolingo is, I would say, is much easier than the IELTS because you can do it online, and it doesn't require any specialized training for that. It's just, I think it's $50 test, and the 45-minute test. There are a lot of these practice tests available online, and just do one of these tests, and you're through. I mean, you have that some 105, 110 marks, and then you once you're done that, you get your admission, and then you speak to Solent, and then the admission procedure takes time. The admission procedure is about a month and a half, I would say, because it's communications involved. So anyone who's wanting to start to join in October should at least by mid-August, end of August, start communicating with the college and get things sorted out. And finally, those are the struggles, I would say. And then show career, as everyone knows. I mean, knowing a law is always better when you're in the maritime industry. And there was a poll question where most of the people said this course is for career advancement. Yes, I definitely agree to that. Before you start enrolling in this course, it is for the career advancement. But after you started doing this course, then I would say the answer is not, the answer was option B, where it says that the key takeaway is your ability to reason the arguments. I mean, every claim depends on how good you can argue and minimize that the liability, and how good you can bring down the liability to your clients or customers. So that, I would say, is one of the best things you can learn out of this course. And for me, the key takeaway from this course is the ability to analyze the practical problems of the legal issues that will be encountered in the maritime industry, which what we are handling day to day, like whether it be the cargo claims, the insurance, the crewing, and whatever, you name any venture in the maritime industry. Basically, if you have a good practical ability to analyze the issues, then half your problems are sorted out there. And the other takeaway is that you, after this course, I am definitely sure that I'll be able to ascertain and apply the relevant law to all the issues that will arise from the maritime venture, any incidents, any emergencies on board. As a technical person, as the quality person, you're sitting here. I mean, there are a lot of authorities what you're going to deal with after an incident on the ship. And if you don't have any knowledge about what law is all about related to that incident, it is very difficult to handle it and negotiate the terms with the third party or the legal team. So that's it. And also, finally, I mean, I'm definitely sure that I will be in a better position to negotiate with the disputes that is happening. And negotiation of disputes is what, end of the day, nobody wants to spend money, or nobody wants to be exposed to maritime liabilities, especially when you're in a management company, shipping management. You have to safeguard your owner's interest, and no owner would like to spend too much of money, So that's what I would say is you can be a better negotiator and try to reduce the liabilities. And these are the takeaways. And success is again, but just by doing this course, you just cannot be get into the be a lawyer, or just by topping it up. It'll take its time, and you have to work hard for it. But there are a lot of opportunities. Being in Hong Kong, I know that there are a lot of opportunities in Hong Kong for to be getting into the PNIs, claims handlers, the average adjusters. There are a lot of opportunities, I would say, but all this can open up with this course. So, I mean, it will be a value-added course. Definitely everybody has got the knowledge, but the ability to argue and reason is not there with any of us coming out from a normal shipping background or being a seafarer. So, I mean, that would add. This course will definitely give a better edge to everyone who completes this course to reasonably argue any incident or any maritime affairs that is after the incident. I mean, anything else, Gaurav?
No, I think thanks, Thomas. Thanks for your inputs on the course. Madhura, if we move to the next slide. So to everyone, you can now put in your questions in the Q&A module on the tab which is at the bottom of your screen. You can start putting in your questions you have for the presenters. Thank you, Kunal, Susan, and Thomas for your time and for your inputs. Quickly, how CN Beyond could help you. For this course, it probably is not relevant, but in case you want any assistance in visa or you want to stay abroad, that's those are the two things where we have tied up with a few persons, with a few companies, and we could help you over there. Second is on the financial assistance. A lot of international courses do not get any kind of loans. Students don't get those loans, but we've managed to kind of tie up with a couple of NBFCs, and we can guide you, we can connect you to them to get loans. And for some of the courses, the loans can be 100% of not only the course fees, but also they will be able to give you your expenses for your stay in that particular country as well. And of course, on the forex remittance, if you go through bank, you pay about 1 to 2% extra. We can help you in saving some charges in terms of the forex conversion rate with which banks charge, and we can help you in your filling of forms and your SOPs and all. So that's how CN Beyond could help you. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it from my side. I'll probably, Madhura, you can stop sharing the screen and we can move on to the Q&As. There is one question, which is related to the BSc Nautical top-up. Kunal, probably you could answer it. So is it a full-time or a distance learning course? So I'll encourage others to put in their queries in the Q&A window.
Yeah, so I can answer that. So we've got a question about the BSc. So that's a BSc in Maritime Sciences. To see the name of the individual who's asked this. Yes, it's a blended learning program. To whoever is asking, it starts off as distance learning. So there are about 3 months of distance learning, and then there is close to, I'm willing to say, yeah, about 15 months of full-time study, which includes your chief mate professional modules, as well as then moving on to a level 6 top-up modules, which are more related to management and shore-based modules such as surveying, maritime business, insurance, and so on. So it's considered to be a full-time course, and yeah, because it's considered it's developed and delivered on campus. It comes with the post-study work visa attached to it. So yeah, it's a full-time course, but it's a blended learning course. Any more questions? I've been quite surprised. Very few questions today. We got a second one, and I can take that as well. Are PG, DIP, and LLM similar? Yes and no. So the way it works, and it's a quite common question. So there are two parts of this question. So first one, obviously, how it works in the UK higher education is particularly for anything which is postgraduate. We work on something called credits, which we are awarding to the bit of course that you do. So there are 3 bits to postgraduate courses. So you could get a full postgraduate award, which is a postgraduate degree award, is 180 credits at level 7. We call it postgraduate level studies level 7. Undergraduate level award level is level 6, and PhD is level 8. So, but at level 7, which is a postgraduate level, 180 degree gets you a full degree, which is a LLM. But there are also three parts to it. If you get a 60 credits, then it's a postgraduate certificate, or PGC, as we call it, and 120 credits get you a PGD, which is a postgraduate diploma. So 1/3 of the credit gets you a postgraduate certificate, 2/3 of the credit get you a postgraduate diploma, and a full 180 credits get you a full degree, which is a master's degree. So what we are talking about here is a PG diploma, which is 120 credits, which you'll achieve at the end of this course, and another 60 credits if you add on to a top up, as we're going to call it, a LLM top up, another 60 degree credits, which is mostly to do with research methods and a dissertation, which we are, like I said, which we are offering in few months time, will get you a full LLM. So PG diploma or a LLM. So you can build up credits. The way UK education works is you can build up credits. You could means we don't offer it in this course, but you could get a postgraduate certificate, then top it up to a postgraduate diploma, and then top it up to a full postgraduate degree. But here you're doing 2/3 of a degree in a PG diploma, which is going to be topped up to a LLM with a short project or / dissertation top up. Are there any upcoming course for LLM international trade? Sorry, I missed the last question, but yeah, LLM, yes. So postgraduate diploma starts in October, and that will be followed up with the top up being available immediately after that course. But somebody who's the first course, I've been reliably told, would go live in January, which will work perfectly for Thomas's cohort, because then they finish in October. That gives them a couple of months of breathing time, as well as for their results to come out from their exams, and then a top up would be available from January time, I'm reliably told. So January is our focus. If that deadline doesn't work, then latest is by April of next year. The next question, again, I can take that. With DLP students will get a work permit after completion of the course. Is it possible to get employment in the EU? So I'm thinking you said DLP means distance learning.
That's
So
right.
so distance learning students are unfortunately not eligible for post-study work visa. Not really a work permit. It's almost the same, but what it's called is post-study work visa. Only full-time courses leading to full undergraduate award or postgraduate award are eligible for post-study work visa scheme as per the UK government. So like as Thomas was saying, there's pros and cons of both courses. Whether you want to do them full-time, you have to invest a lot of time. You've got to take time off work. You've got to apply for visas and put your life on hold. But obviously, that's a full-time course. Experience is different. And then obviously you'll be eligible for post-study work visa, where our online courses are around where you want to keep your costs down, you want to continue working, and then obtain a qualification as such. But yes, the online courses and distance learning courses are not eligible for post-study work visa. Is it possible to get employment in UK and EU? Definitely. So the course is a UK recognized course and worldwide recognized course as a qualification, and any employer would happily take this qualification as basis for your employment, obviously. But again, it's not a work visa. It's not leading up to any work visa, and obviously, since UK has departed EU, the visa requirements for both these sectors, UK and EU, are certainly different at this point in time. And another question, MSc Shipping Operations is distance or regular learning? MSc Shipping Operations is also distance learning course, which is a 2-year distance learning online course, part-time. We will have possibly a webinar about it pretty soon, I guess, and I'm looking at Gaurav about it. But yeah, it's a distance learning course, again, for professionals, maritime professionals. There are full-time courses, as I mentioned, which we offer. So we offer MSc in international maritime business, and we offer MSc in international logistics in shipping. which are full-time courses, 1-year courses, which are on campus. But MSc Shipping Operations, again, is a distance learning course for maritime professionals. Surprised I'm getting not too many questions about PGDIP, everything else, but.
Yeah. Let me ask a couple of questions which generally people have. So, if a person is not a graduate and he is also not having a master's license, so maybe he has a chief officer's license, and this is a question which has come up earlier many times. Would that person be eligible to get enrolled into this course? Yeah. Please go ahead, Susan.
Susan, you want to answer that, or I can take that as well?
Well, I'll just, I think you are probably the better person because you are the university person, but could I just say a brief, that you haven't got a degree or you haven't got a master's license is not in itself a bar, and Kunal will talk about that. And one of the reasons this course was initially developed as a diploma rather than the full LLM from start to end is that the UK has very strict requirements as to who comes on what type of course, and you wouldn't be able to come on an LLM without either an underlying law degree or some similar degree, or particularly extraordinary underlying support. So it is more relaxed to get onto the not more relaxed, but it's a wider spread of possibility to get onto a diploma than the full degree. And that's and it was to encourage people from the shipping industry that we started off on this route. And the way the course is structured and the way it's taught and the way students are supported is such that not having a degree will not disable you. If we think you are, and Kunal will talk about this, if we allow you on the course, you will be able to do well. And I know that from having, been in this industry for nearly 40 years now, and regularly teaching shipbrokers on the Institute of Chartered Shipbrokers qualifying courses, and also having run this course for 25 or so years. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so I can take that. Thanks very much, Susan. You're absolutely spot on. So what we are trying to achieve here at Wasatch and Solent is encourage and empower seafarers actually to come into higher education. And that's what we're trying to achieve, and that's my personal goal, to award seafarers as well as others from the maritime industry get higher education qualifications which are giving you the tools, knowledge for the real world, but for the industry as well. The recognition that I think we deserve as maritime professionals, which has been somewhat lacking so far in the industry. And very rightly, as Susan pointed out, so starting off with a PG dip is the right stepping stone, rather than giving you throwing the whole kitchen sink at you with a full LLM to begin with. We get you the stepping stone to get onto an LLM as maritime professional. And coming back to and so some of the other top-ups as well. Coming back to question that Gaurav asked, absolutely, means you don't have to have a degree to come onto a postgraduate course. What we do recognize at Solent and here at Wasatch is you would have equivalent industry experience or professional qualifications, which we will consider on a case-to-case basis. So if you've got a say management position or a management COC or a management position ashore in equivalent role where you've done enough experience or you've got accrued the enough experience and knowledge based on your professional life, we will give you credit for that and take you on the course. Yes, definitely. Looking at some of the other questions, is value addition similar through distance learning or a full-time maritime law program for career advancement? Yes, it's a very good question and gets asked quite a lot. there is no difference between the qualification, whether you do it distance learning or you do it a full time. You don't get a online or DL in a bracket next to a degree that you are awarded, and that's completely against the ethos of higher education, or particularly in UK or higher education sector. A higher education award is a higher education award at the end of the day. There's it will actually constitute to being uh, a discrimination, as Susan would probably point out, if we were to discriminate between any award, whether it's distance learning, online, full time. Higher education means the rigor of higher education, as Thomas has really pointed out and Susan has pointed out, doesn't change. We've got checks and balances to make sure that that award really means what it means. It's based on the amount of effort you've got to put in, the amount of academic rigor, the assessment, and so on, and knowledge that you get out of it. There is no compromise on that, whichever way you follow a higher education award in UK, or particularly in Solent as well. So there is, as an employer, anybody who sees a degree, whether you've done it through a distance learning, online, or a full-time, award is an award, and it'll count for that, the same thing, whichever way you look at it. So there is no difference as far as the award or the career advancement is concerned. Abhishek asks the next question. You have a BSc Nautical Technology from Mumbai University for master's license, sailing as a chief officer, age 40, in November 21. What could be the best if planning to search you're interested in academics? I mean, Abhishek, it really means you've got a good background. So you've got, you're sailing as a chief officer, you've got a master's license. I think that's what I think is a typo there. And you've got a BSc as well. You've got the right background. Really coming ashore, it depends a lot, and I'm sure Gaurav can take that up outside as well if you talk to him. It really depends on what your core strengths are, what your interests are, which is the field you want to pursue. Means don't want to use many cliches, but world is your oyster, as they say. You want to study. If you're interested in law, this course is for you. If you're interested in trade and maritime law, if you want to be pursuing something else more generic, then MSc shipping operations is for you. If you want to be going strictly into business, chartering, brokering side of things, then maritime business MSc is for you. If you want to be, if you're interested more specifically in logistics, supply chain, then international logistics is for you. So there are a range of courses that you can go. And obviously, whether you want to come in to study full time, whether you want to study part time, there's lots of options available. But it lots depends on what you. I mean, again, to use another cliche, I said I was not going to use. Some wise man once said, choose a job that you love, and then you won't have to work for a single day in your life. And that's what it actually boils down to. You've got to see what you are interested in, and then you will thrive in area that you choose. It's, let me see, a career is career. Yes, we all work for a living. At the end of the day, we all have to pay our bills. But yeah, if you choose the area that you are interested in, life gets more interesting and easier after that. So sorry for roundabout answer, but Gaurav, you want to add anything?
Yeah, just one quick thing, Abhishek. We can of course connect offline to have a detailed discussion. But what I can tell you is a few things which you probably may not be as useful as other options. Number one, at this age, 40, maybe an MBA is something which I would suggest not to look at, because you should try to leverage your experience which you have and do something which is related to the core shipping or to the larger marine sector. So either something in the logistics, law, or maybe shipping side. Second is also you're a borderline, candidate for a full-time kind of a course. So maybe by the time you pass out, you'll be about 42 or so. you'll not have many students of your age in a full-time kind of a program. So you could do it, depending what your final goal is, but that's a borderline case, and a distance learning or an online program is probably a better bet for you. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, thanks, Gaurav. Yeah, very rightly put. I could answer this, but I would rather let Susan answer this one. So, Susan, the question is, what kind of work profile we are looking at after doing this course?
Yes. Yes, I think that in broad terms, actually any work profile, anything, the law is a very, very good base to go into anything. And I do think there are careers where the MSc in one of the MSc courses would be perhaps better tailored, but in actual fact, in my view, and I would say this because I'm a lawyer and I'm completely driven by this, I don't think there's anything in life where having a very good critical understanding of commercial law contract won't help you. In specific terms, it's in-house advisors in a corporate firm, it's working for P&I clubs, it's working for the marine insurance industry, it's working also as legal associates in city law firms. Although you can't be a partner in a law firm, you can't be a partner in a UK law firm if you haven't qualified with the Law Society, the legal practice course. You can actually do very, very well, both career-wise, socially wise, and money-wise as an associate, because you bring your background experience plus your understanding of the law. It's that very much that commercial law meets commercial practice area. So I think that it's the P&I is in specific terms, it's in-house advisors, it's P&I clubs, it's the sort of broking Galbraiths, Clarksons, Gibsons types environment, and it's the consulting companies like the Subsea 7 chain, like Charles Taylor Consulting, and it's the law firms. And when I say in general terms, I know this sounds a bit woolly, and I say in general terms, it will support you in anything. In actual fact, it would, because as Thomas said, understanding liabilities, understanding the platform you're standing on is increasingly an essential tool. It's an essential quality to have. So it wouldn't matter if you went and worked at the local baking shop. Understanding about contract law, understanding that contract law is driven by policy, which strives to meet the needs of society, is a very, very useful tool to have. So also, I think that anything with this diploma and the top up would be within your reach.
Thomas, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I mean, also all the major shipping companies, all the management companies or the owners, they have a legal team, so I mean, this course can put you into that legal team. You can get into a job there in that legal team there. With your shipping background, if you're a chief officer, a master, that adds to it, and then so yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and I just like to add quickly, as Susan has quite rightly put, and Thomas is as well. But technically, any field, your legal knowledge is important. As Susan has had students from all fields of maritime, whether on board or ashore. You could the legal knowledge forms basis of anything and everything that you do. As Thomas would probably agree, even his current role as a superintendent, the knowledge that he's gaining through this course would come in very handy, and any employer would love that extra bit of knowledge that you have on your CV as a good starting point.
And also, within one's entire life. So let's narrow it down to within one's working life. There are many times when the skills we learn doing a subject like the law, so my diploma, are critical in their transferable nature. So you might be negotiating or leading a team or trying to settle some disharmony down and being able to focus. There's nothing to do with the law, but the ability to focus and the ability to develop reasoned critical analysis and the ability to think about what the other side wants. Because one of the best approaches to developing an argument is to develop the other side's argument and then develop a counter argument to that, just destroy them down, because that's what the law is about. Being able to do that and being able to keep people on side and being able to stand your ground, it goes right back to putting your markers out, sort of really helps you in your professional life, particularly the more and more senior one gets.
You're on mute, Guru.
No, I was just saying thank you all for that answer, and I think we have one final question. How's the job market in these profiles? Is there a huge demand for such professionals?
I mean, I think we partly answered that. I mean, job market. I mean, shipping is global, and shipping is the only thing that is probably not slowed down in this pandemic, and probably actually has accelerated. As Thomas and Susan and I could probably vouch for, we are more busier than ever in whatever we do. So shipping never slows down. I mean, obviously it goes through ups and downs, but not nowhere near the disruption that pandemic has caused around the world. I think shipping is one of the very few sectors which is almost untouched by it, or actually is benefited from it. So yeah, there is shipping will never slow down. There will always be jobs. There will be always requirement of educated, experienced maritime professionals, shore-based professionals as well, who understand maritime, who understand the shore side, who understand law, who understand business, trade, and so on. So yeah, this is a global fraternity, as I'd like to call it, and it's reflected in the panel here, as well as attendees of this webinar. And there will be, I mean, I wouldn't say huge demand, but there would always be demand for, like I said, the right candidates who've got the right attitude, who've got the right work experience, and who've got the right qualifications, so to speak.
Yes, I would endorse that. I would absolutely endorse that. I've been around a long time, and I've been around a long time in the commercial shipping world, and I've seen shipping go up and down and up and down, and I've seen people weeping and wailing, and there are no jobs, and there are no this, there are no that, and there was always jobs. There's always jobs for people who are actually the sort of people we are in shipping: robust, hardworking, good personal skills, constantly seeking to improve ourselves, which is a quality in itself. And I think you can always get a job. You can always get a job if you're going to get a job. And to my mind, that's the bottom line. And everything you do supports that and militates towards it. It's never one thing individual in itself that will get you the job. So the diploma, the LLM top-up won't get you the job, but the fact that you got there will get you the job because you're that sort of person. There's always jobs. I mean, there's always jobs. There's always jobs, always jobs. You know, there's always jobs.
Well said.
I've always got work.
It's the academic mummy in you coming out, Susan. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You will, like I said, it's the attitude. Means what employers seek is when you have that on your CV. So obviously you've learned higher education skills like critical analysis, thinking, learn more about law, trade, and everything else, which is obviously a bonus, which develop you as an individual. as Susan rightly pointed out. But from employer's point of view, that knowledge and understanding, yes, counts for it. But whether you do a part-time course or a full-time course, it's the commitment that you've shown towards improving yourself and hard work that you've put in gaining that qualification from employer. Because I employ individuals as well. I lead a big team of individuals who are quite experienced, most of them professionals. And if I was to employ somebody new, looking at the CV saying, means even I'm not just talking about this course, any higher education course that you do, is saying this guy has strived to improve himself. He's put in the hard work while working. He's done a postgraduate course. He's invested time and effort and money into it, in improving himself. He's got what it takes to manage his time, to improve himself, put in the hard work, and that's ticking a lot of right boxes for me as employer. Fees and duration for LLM top up, okay, before that, one last question: how university help in finding prospective employment? Not directly so. We obviously got a particular a cell within the university which helps you build your CVs, write up on skills of writing up your CVs. And as we are all industry professionals, including Susan, myself, Gaurav, we can always put you in touch with the right people, build up your network, which is very important in shipping. And during the course of this completing your PG dip, you will come across, whether it's your classmates, your classmates of the cohort, or alumni, or your lecturers, your module leaders, or people like myself and other people in the university. You will gain a lot of exposure, and you'll develop your networking skills, and we will put you in touch with the right people as well. And that's all. Very loosely we can help you in finding the right people. And again, like as Susan said, it's all up to you after that. But yes, we will help you wherever we can, but not in an official capacity, but we will help you in any which way we can. And finally, fees and duration of LLM top up, TBD, as I would like to call it, to be decided. Uh, but it'll be. I wouldn't want to, because I might get in trouble with university quality and all before the official date and time comes up. But what I'm thinking is duration. I can probably talk to you about. I'm probably thinking 6 to 8 months for the top up, and Susan will correct me if I'm way off the mark there. But yeah, 6 to 8 months is probably the duration in distance learning. And fee would be proportionate, if you think about, to the credits that we talked about earlier on, is all I can say. I'm close to.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Kunal. Let me take a quick couple of polls on the feedback and the interest of the remaining participants in the course. So, to the persons, to the participants, would you be interested to attend this course? Yes, no, or you need time to decide? A few more answers, please. Got about 60% of you who have voted. Okay.
I'd like to add that you're not committing to anything at this point, so feel free.
Yes, absolutely. Moving on, for those who are probably planning to enroll, what's your view? Would you like to go straight away this year? Would you like to, maybe take it next year, or are you not sure? A lot of persons were essentially a little bit, they would want to plan and decide. So a few more answers over here. All right, I'll end this poll. And one final poll on the feedback. Were your expectations met about the webinar? Was the session useful to you? And how would you rate this session, please? To everyone, if you have any feedback for us, whatever the feedback is, areas of improvement which you would like us to do, or any new thing which you would want us to bring in the webinar, you may feel free to write in the chat window or in the Q&A, or send us an email out as well. We will, of course, send the presentation out to all of you as well. So a fairly good feedback to most of you. Either it exceeded or met your expectation, and the rating is either good or excellent. So thanks for your feedback. Any kind of feedback in terms of improvement is welcome. That's pretty much it. Thank you all the participants. Thank you presenters, Kunal, Susan, Captain Thomas. Thanks for your time. Appreciate that. And we'll keep similar webinars flowing to all of you. And we'll keep it going. Another 2 months remaining for you to enroll. Any help you want from us, we'll be more than happy to help you over there.
Yeah, to all the participants, if they have any particular questions, they can, Gaurav, you can take it, and I'm happy to answer it if they have anything.
Yeah.
Thanks, Thomas.
Yeah, thank you, Thomas, and thanks everyone, all the participants, and particularly the panelists. Want to thank Gaurav and Madhura for organizing this, obviously, and Thomas taking his